I'm MadelineHenners, and I serve as an elder in the Rio, Texas Annual Conference. This February 2019 in St. Louis, a global delegation will gather for our special called General Conference. And they've received multiple plans to consider as well as amendments, and of course the One Church plan that's been put before us by a simple majority of bishops. And I'd just like to share with you some of my thoughts, maybe concerns for the One Church plan. Now, first of all, it's the name. It's interesting that it was named the One Church Plan because as the plan itself reads and as it would be lived out, it's really everyone for themselves plan. It's an everyone for themselves with regards to their theology on marriage and therefore their practice of marriage. Every church and every pastor would decide separately from themselves what they would like their church or practice to be, and then you might have pastors that are mismatched. Another less common talked about concern that I have is that it disenfranchises the voice of the laity with regards to clergy standards for ordination. And what do I mean by that? Well, the General Conference body, at least in theory right now, of course we know boards of ordained ministry haven't been abiding by the standards set by General Conference, but it's a General Conference body that sets those clergy standards for ordination, and that has equal representation of lay and clergy. The way that the One Church plan is recommending we move forward is by moving that decision-making for clergy standards to the boards of ordained ministry and local annual conferences. This would imply that at the Board of Ordained Ministry level, where there's not necessarily equal lay representation on those boards, that now the voice of the lay people has been disenfranchised and minimalized to have an effect on the clergy standards of the clergy they will themselves be receiving as their leaders. A disenfranchisement happens to the global voice. As the United Methodist Church, we are unique. We are not like some of the other denominations in America because we have a global voice, not just in fellowship or in missions, but in legislation, in the way that we make decisions together. We are not siloed by just our cultural experiences in our one context, in our one decade. We have a global church that we can rely upon to discern together what God's will is for the United Methodist Church. Something else I'd like to share with you as we close is just the words that have been used as sort of the key phrases or key words to kind of get you excited about the One Church plan, but I find some issues with. And one is contextualization and unity itself. So I was reading a blog by Scott Kisker, a professor at United, and he said, you know, contextualization is not an unquestionable good. And he's absolutely right. Contextualization is something we should certainly do. You might find yourself in a country church or in an urban church, in an urban setting. And of course, we need to be able to relate to the folks that we are serving. But we are there with a message, and that message is truth. No matter what context you find yourself. It was true in the time of Paul and the time of the early apostles. It was true when they were first hearing it from Jesus. And it's true for us today. And what about unity? Is unity an unquestionable good? If it's for the sake of preserving the institution and yet compromising at the same time the Holy Scriptures, then it falls drastically short. As a General Conference body, I'm so grateful for those of you who are delegates who are taking the enormous amount of time to serve the church in this way. You'll be in our prayers, and we'll see you there.